केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Within just 15 hours of assuring India's youth that tougher action against paper leak mafia and swifter justice for students was on the way, the Modi government has acted. At 11:52 p.m. last night, Prime Minister Narendra Modi publicly spoke on the issue for the first time, promising a faster, harsher crackdown. By this afternoon, the Union Cabinet had approved a draft bill to strengthen the anti-paper leak law. The proposed amendments include fast-track courts, a 3-month timeline to conclude trials, and punishment of up to 10 years in jail with fines of up to 10 crore for organized paper leak syndicates. Prime Minister's message is unmistakable. Hit the exam mafia harder, prosecute faster, and close the loopholes. Last night came the promise, today came the Cabinet's approval. On Monday, the plan is to table the bill in the Parliament and make it a law as soon as possible. Here's what the Prime Minister said.
मैं आज फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट के लिए विभागों को निर्देश दिए थे। कैबिनेट के साथियों के सुझाव के बाद उसका अंतिम रूप दिया जाएगा और सोमवार से संसद का दूसरा सप्ताह शुरू हो रहा है। तब जल्द से जल्द उस बिल को सदन में पारित कराने का प्रयास किया जाएगा।
Just about an hour later, at 12:50 a.m., early hours of this morning, Sonam Wangchuk ended his 26-day hunger strike. After 2 days of negotiations, the centre gave him written assurances. No FIRs against peaceful protesters, compensation for families of students who died after the alleged paper leak, and a full discussion in Parliament on examination reforms and accountability. Remember, when Wangchuk joined this agitation, one of the central demands was Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation. But while ending his fast, Wangchuk made it clear that resignation was not the most important issue. Students' welfare was.
वो ऐसा नहीं करते, इस्तीफा नहीं देते, इससे हानि हमें या बच्चों को नहीं होगा, सरकार को खुद होगा। मेरे लिए सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी ये बात नहीं थी, इसका तो खुद निपटारा हो जाएगा तमाम तरीकों से। ज़्यादा ज़रूरी मेरे लिए था कि हमारे बच्चों पर कोई ऐसे केसेस न लगें।
Wangchuk said the end of his hunger strike was the beginning of accountability. After 26 days without food, he says he chose to protect the future of students over prolonging a battle for one minister's resignation. The CJP, however, is holding the line. After fresh talks with union ministers JP Nadda and Jitendra Singh, it says there is in principle agreement on 2 of its 3 demands: compensation for affected families and withdrawal of legal action against protesters. But on the resignation demand, the government has sought more time. Another round of talks is now scheduled for tomorrow.
एक सेंटिमेंट है, वो बहुत क्लियर सेंटिमेंट है दैट धर्मेंद्र प्रधान हैज टू रिजाइन और ही नीड्स टू बी सैक्ड। सरकार से इस बारे में विस्तृत चर्चा हुई है। सरकार ने इस मुद्दे पर, इस पॉइंट पर जवाब देने के लिए कल दोपहर तक का समय मांगा है। लगभग 2 घंटे बातचीत चली। उनकी मुख्यतः 3 डिमांड थी और 5 सुधार के दृष्टि से परीक्षा के चुनाव में हमने उनको कहा कि हम कल आपके साथ दोपहर बाद करेंगे और फिर हम आपसे
So here's where the issue stands tonight. The centre's assurances have convinced Sonam Wangchuk to end his 2060 hunger strike. The CJP hasn't fully climbed down, but it has returned to the negotiating table with another round of talks scheduled for Saturday. The opposition, however, remains completely unmoved. It has dismissed the Prime Minister's assurances as yet another one-sided man ki baat. Rahul Gandhi insists there can be no discussion before Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan resigns.
Dharmendra Pradhan is a criminal education minister. He has to be removed.
We are not going to have any conversation, any discussion before Mr. Pradhan is sacked.
The divide is now impossible to miss. Wangchuk has chosen engagement, the CJP has chosen negotiation, the Congress has chosen confrontation and a personal attack. Reacting to Wangchuk ending his fast last night, Congress MP Imran Masood likened him to Anna Hazare, accusing him of striking a deal with the government. His charge: the students were missing from the negotiations and Wangchuk had cut his own private deal. In these abuses, BJP spots a fight for credit.
अन्ना पार्ट 2 12 साल अन्ना खामोश हो गए, अब वांगचुक साहब खामोश रहेंगे। हमें तो पहले दिन से पता था, कल डील कर रहे थे आप सरकार के साथ, कोई छात्र भी आ गया वहां, आपकी अपनी डील हो रही है, आपने अपना आप डील कर रही है।
Rahul is running away from the charcha and he is getting his MPs to abuse Sonam Wangchuk. They are already very upset because they are not getting credit. They are abusing Aam Aadmi Party, Samajwadi Party. They are all fighting for credit, not for students.
So here's the obvious question. If Sonam Wangchuk was a hero when he was confronting the government, whether from Ladakh or Jantar Mantar, why is he suddenly being branded as a sellout the moment he refused to toe the opposition's line? And that brings me to the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight. Does this show that Congress's fight was never about the students, but about political credit alone? That's the question, and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
The News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight with me, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, National Spokesperson and Member of Parliament in the Rajya Sabha from the BJP. Also joining him, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Senior Fellow at the IPCS, Somnath Bhartiji, former Minister, Senior Leader of the Aam Aadmi Party. Also joining them is Kapil Madan of the Congress Party, Abbas Haider, National Spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Vivek Srivastava, Political Analyst. First question goes off to Mr. Kapil Madan. And Mr. Kapil Madan, my question to you is the Congress Party the certification authority on what's right and what's wrong in the current protest? Sonam Wangchuk was the man sitting on hunger strike at Jantar Mantar with the CJP, with the students for 20 days. Rahul Gandhi was nowhere to be seen. He was abroad, holidaying or on work, I don't know, but he was not in India for 3 weeks. And those 3 weeks, Sonam Wangchuk was sitting here. When Sonam Wangchuk was arrested by the BJP government in Ladakh, you were standing all out with him. You were standing with him when he protested at Jantar Mantar. The minute he agrees to the offer of settlement of the biggest demands that were made by the protesters, suddenly he's a sellout. Are you the certification authority? Do you want the students' betterment, or do you want prolonged confrontation and that is your only goal?
So let's assume I would, if your narrative is to be, accepted and believed, then we would, our viewers will get an impression.
There's no narrative here, sir. There is no narrative here, sir. There are only facts that I have stated.
Okay, it's a premise, right? It's a premise basis which you have said whatever you have said. Then only allow me to respond to your premise, the premise that you've taken. Now, basis this, we would assume and we would believe that, it is only Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan who can give a certificate to himself. It is only a BJP government that can give a certification to himself. They will not answer questions. And let me also jog your memory, perhaps you have missed in your opening remarks saying this. previous time when this NEET leak happened, there was a CBI case, and in that CBI case, there's an equity. And I will just give one very plain, simple logic. And I will let to the viewers to decide. आपकी गाड़ी, आपका ड्राइवर अगर एक बारी ठोकेगा, आप उसको बोल दोगे चलो ठीक है, दूसरी बारी ठोकेगा, आप उसको बोलोगे, आप तीसरी बारी उसको बोलोगे कि नहीं बोलोगे, बस you can't handle my car, I am sorry. The point is, if you don't acknowledge the problem, you cannot go and find the solution towards the problem. That's the biggest problem. Today, the problem is the BJP government is arrogant. They feel that, they are above accountability. They can't be questioned. They are, they should not be questioned. They will do whatever they want and they will not do whatever they don't know.
I don't know what you're saying, Kapil Madan. Yes, for the first 18 days, the government did not respond. Now the Prime Minister not only has tweeted, he has come and spoken last night. He has okayed a law which will be more stringent. He has sacked 47 members of the NTA. The Secretary of Education has been shunted out. He has taken action. He's not speaking without taking.
What logic Dharmendra Pradhan has to continue? You please explain. Why should he continue? One good reason why he should continue. One.
Okay, so for you, the problem is not the leakage. The problem is that you want to claim a scalp and the scalp of the education minister. Why is BJP protecting him? Sudhanshu Trivedi ji, please respond.
I am saying, if you are...
No, I understood what you are saying. The whole world has understood. Every demand has been agreed to. The only demand that you want heard is resignation. Sudhanshu ji is responding.
There has to be some logic behind everything, and advocates are considered to be more logical. So I will give you an example so that you can understand. This time the paper leak happened is a different thing. Usually paper leak happens from paper setter to printer and from printer to the examination center. If anything happens in between, it is called paper leak. But for this time, the paper setter itself has leaked. It is like, since you are an advocate, I would like to give an example. That judges pronounce judgment, and before pronouncing the judgment, it is believed that it will remain confidential with the judge. But if judge himself leaks the judgment, before pronouncement, should law minister resign? Say yes or no. That is the logic here. If paper setter himself has leaked, which was unprecedented, uncalled for. Now the government is trying to devise a mechanism that how can paper setter should not be given an opportunity to set the complete paper or partial paper and how it can be collected. That is altogether different thing, how the technology. Just to give an example, if a judge leaks judgment before pronouncement, should law minister resign? Yes or no? There has to be logic in it. But I would like to say, the problem is the government is fully sympathetic, sensitive and active. Sir, let me complete 2 sentences, then you can say. Government is fully sensitive, sympathetic and active on the issue of the students. You have seen that Nadda ji and Jiten Singh ji has gone and persuaded Sonam Wangchuk ji to withdraw his, to finish fast. And Sonam Wangchuk, what he said? My sympathizer said that I should remain alive, and those who are saying that he should continue, anybody can understand, draw the conclusion. Now, today, it is second round of talks with the students. Without any ego, even government ministers agreed to meet outside the government office and the government residence. Now, Prime Minister yesterday has announced fast-track court. Today, Cabinet has passed a very strong and stringent bill for punishment and making the rules more strong. NTA changing, secretary is changing. So, government is fully active. But on the other hand, what the opposition is doing? They are running away. They are changing the goalpost. We are saying that have discussion in the parliament. They are saying no. Then they are saying we are agree, but if and but around this route 267 or 182. I just want to say, in any rule in the parliament, if any discussion takes place, the rule says that finally it is to be answered by the minister concerned. So even in Rajya Sabha, if you want to be discussion under 267. The government is already ready to have a short duration discussion of 4 hours, which is sufficient. Instead, you wanted 267, what the law says. The rule says it is to be answered by the minister, but the minister should first resign. And now, if you are saying that minister should first resign when the session is in progress, A minister should resign on the floor of the House. And on the floor of the House, he will resign and give a statement. Then the rule says after minister's statement, there can not be any discussion. तो भाई साहब आप करना क्या चाह रहे हैं? यही मैं कह रहा हूं. कोई सूरत बदलना मेरा मकसद नहीं है. मेरा मकसद है हर कदम पे हंगामा होना चाहिए. गवर्नमेंट इज वर्किंग विद फुल सेंसिटिविटी, जिसे हम कहेंगे हम पूरी संवेदनशीलता से काम कर रहे हैं और विपक्ष कुटिलता से काम कर रहा है. हम व्यवस्था के लिए काम कर रहे हैं, विपक्ष अराजकता के लिए काम कर रहा है. हम समाधान के लिए काम कर रहे हैं, विपक्ष घमासान के लिए काम कर रहा है. एंड लास्टली आई वुड लाइक टू से, अभिजीत दिके is a cadre, ex-cadre of Aam Aadmi Party. And Sonam Wangchuk's father was Congress MLA. And Mr. Yogesh Yadav, who has said from now onwards, there will be, not by election, the decisions will not be taken by resistance. The issues will not be solved in the parliament, but on the streets. And who is he? Founder member of Aam Aadmi Party and the member of UPA Super Cabinet National Advisory Council, headed by Sonia Gandhi, on the insistence of Communist Party, was formed, and Mr. Yogesh Yadav is the member. So anybody can guess what is the real face and what is the mask. Students should be very careful about these intruders who are trying to use up their education and trying to create a ruckus, violence and anarchy.
Kapil Madan, quick counter.
Yes. So what Mr. Trivedi is saying, that, if X has committed wrong, why, being the minister should not resign? Let me give him, a contextuality check. If there is a quid pro quo in the appointment of that person who has leaked, then yes, minister should resign. In order to ensure that there is free and fair inquiry and investigation, so that, investigation is not tainted or investigation is not compromised, minister should resign. If there was an issue of nepotism in appointing that person, the minister should resign. The minister should resign on moral grounds to ensure, to come clean before the public, that the minister is standing with public. The minister should take moral accountability of the kids who have committed suicide. The minister should take responsibility of the brutal lathi charge that you've done.
On the issue of the moral responsibility, Sudhanshu ji will respond, but what is the morality of the Congress party, which was absent for 3 weeks and suddenly has become the biggest conscience keeper of the nation, of the students movement? Where were you? आप छात्रों की गूंज से गायब हो गए थे. आप तीन हफ्ते गए नहीं थे वहां. आप 20 तारीख को गए पहली बार. प्लीज पाठ पढ़ाइए. देश देख रहा है. Everybody can see through your shenanigans. No, Kapil Madan, you are not going to be allowed to speak over everybody. You have spoken enough. I'm getting it, Somnath Bharti. Somnath Bharti ji, 1 minute. Hold on, Kapil Madan. As an advocate, I think you should know when is your turn to speak. Somnath Bharti ji, I want to ask you, does the Congress have the full right to declare what is right, what is wrong, who should go where, who should go what side? I can see that Sonam Wangchuk, who was the main crusader of this entire students movement, he was the first person who sat on a hunger strike, ended the strike yesterday. The CJP is in negotiations, has met with the government twice. 2 of the 3 demands have met. The 4th demand is discussion on the floor of the House. They have also created fast-track courts. They are bringing in a stringent law. Heads have rolled. Changes have taken place. Why do you think the Congress party is stalling any movement? Why is the opposition stalling any movement? Is this a credit war?
So we are unnecessarily giving too much of importance to Congress in this entire, movement, the test. We need to understand the starting point is not Congress or Aam Aadmi Party or CJP or whatever. The starting point of the agitation is the, death, the suicide of 22 innocent children because of the failure of BJP. Try to understand that. And what has happened subsequently, if you look at it, the NEET 2024 paper leak, the prime accused was Sanjeev Mukhia. What happened with him? CBI has said no evidence has been found to implicate this man in this case. And hence, he was released. He was let go. So if an investigation done by none less than the prime investigative agency of Mr. Modi, CBI, has found no evidence against the person who was so-called prime accused in the leak, in the paper leak of 2024 of the NEET paper, then do you think in the time to come any such thing will be put to any correction? No, I don't believe it. Look at right away, Honorable Sudhanshu Trivedi, what was he saying? He was discrediting Sonam Wangchuk because his father was a congressman. He was discrediting, Deep K because, priorly in time prior, he worked for Aam Aadmi Party. So he's saying particularly that this movement, nobody is to be trusted. The problem is the figure, the massive protest, the mega protest which took place in July 20th, that has woken up BJP to look, something is big happening. And that is why for the first time in the history, because Prime Minister usually comes,
well, to my mind, Somnath Bhattiji, you are a reasonable man and you have reasonable arguments. I think the only point Sudhanshu ji was making was when the Congress discredited Sonam Wangchuk, he said, there is no sellout. He has suddenly not become an alliance partner of the BJP because of his history, and he related the history. And that's exactly what his wife has just tweeted. Geetanjali Angmo has said, before you rush to criticize Wangchuk, first pause to earn the ethos of fasting for 26 days for a cause larger than yourself. He lies in ICU today having lost 11 kg, including muscle mass, because he chose sacrifice over comfort. The least we can offer him is a day of compassion before burdening him with our own expectations and political calculations. Not everyone is qualified to judge a life of selfless service. One must first earn the moral stature to do so. Please have a heart. This is what his wife has just tweeted. I think we should all pause. We should all pause, take a deep breath. Sudhanshu Trivedi ji.
You have made this year. Trivedi ji was discrediting him because his father was a congressman.
I would like to answer.
This message is for him.
No, sir, अभी रुकिए, अभी और fact पे fact बताता हूँ, sir. अब नहीं. During this movement, there were certain slogans raised. सोमनाथ जी, you're an advocate.
चल रही है आपकी.
अभी मैंने सिर्फ फैक्ट बोला था, कंक्लूजन आपने ड्रॉ किया. You drawn the conclusion, I just put up the fact. And मैंने कुछ नहीं बोला था, आपने उड़ता तीर अपने ऊपर ले लिया. I just put the fact that he has taken the blame on him. अब और सुनिए.
Rather, I think Mr. Modi should resign now.
क्यों बोल रहे हैं?
If he's trying to protect Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, he should resign, Prime Minister.
भाई.
Why is he protecting?
जेल में जाके रिजाइन नहीं किया.
Somnath ji, allow him to make his point. You have made your point. Allow him to respond. I'm sorry, we won't be able to have a debate if you keep speaking over him. I'm lowering your fader, Somnath ji. I'm lowering your fader, Somnath ji. You can't speak over him. Allow him to respond to your question. Sudhanshu ji.
Somnath ji, again I am just putting forth certain facts. You let me know what is the connection of this slogan कि प्रेमानंद महाराज नहीं पाखंडी है. Let me know what does this connection have with NEET. मोदी जी को गाली, अमित शाह जी को गाली, चलिए ठीक है, इसका कनेक्शन बताइए. क्या ये ठीक है? कनेक्शन बताइए नीट के साथ. अब आइए इसके बाद ये उमर खालिद is to be released. Can you tell what is the connection this having with NEET? And can you tell me what is the connection of this statement कि सीता के पति का नाम देके नीता के पति का काम कर रहे हैं, utter disrespect to भगवान राम. Several things anti-Hindu spoken. और ये गाना गाया गया, नाम रहेगा अल्लाह का. सोमनाथ जी याद है? ये हर एजिटेशन में गाया गया है. यही CNRC में ये स्लोगन्स, यही किसान आंदोलन में स्लोगन्स, यही पहलवानों में स्लोगन्स, और वही यहाँ. So this is the real nefarious face who tried to intrude in every movement, चाहे वो मुसलमान के पीछे छुपे, वो किसान के पीछे छुपे, वो पहलवान के पीछे छुपे या नौजवान के पीछे छुपे? अब इसका मैं लॉजिक बता दीजिए। और मैं सेंसिटिविटी की बात, एक फैक्ट बता देना चाहता हूं। जब हिस्ट्री की बात आई, आपके व्यूअर्स को बहुतों को नहीं पता होगा, नाविका जी, इंडिया की इंडिपेंडेंस हिस्ट्री में फर्स्ट हंगर स्ट्राइक किसने की थी? एंड द पर्सन डाइड। इट वाज पोट्टी श्रीरामुलु on 19th October 1952 for trying to create a Telugu-speaking state away from Madras Presidency. And at the time, the harbinger of democracy, benevolence, Jawaharlal Nehru was at the position. And finally, on 15th of December 1952, after 58 days of hunger strike, Potti Sriramulu died. He died in 58 days and nobody gave
One minute. 26 days, Sonam Wangchuk stays on hunger strike. And it is a fact what his wife is saying. Nobody else sat on that hunger strike. Nobody else did. Everybody was protesting, but he was the only man who sat on hunger strike. Now today, to actually raise questions, deal ho gayi, is I think people should just look at their own moral compass. Can they blame somebody like that? So Abbas
has overpowered that movement.
Abbas Haider, my question to you is simply this. Are we looking for solutions or are we looking at a logjam? Solutions, if we want, we've got a few already. Some probably will come out of a debate in Parliament, a bill that is going to be tabled. All those issues can be sorted on the floor of the House. I want to know what is the solution the opposition has. Is the resignation demand a solution to the problems?
Well, Navika ji, first of all, we are relieved that Mr. Sonam Wangchuk has finally ended his fast, because Navika ji, we were very much worried about his health, and the Bharatiya Janata Party government is so insensitive that we have seen Professor G.D. Agarwal, who died after 112 days of hunger strike, who was fighting for river Ganga. So they are so insensitive. That is why Samajwadi Party MPs, we all requested Mrs. Sonam Wangchuk that, Mr. Wangchuk should end his indefinite hunger strike. Now, Navika ji, the thing is that the Bharatiya Janata Party government should demonstrate its commitment to accountability instead of pretending that everything is normal. No, everything is not normal in this country right now. Navika ji, the Bharatiya Janata Party, if it is just not about resignation of Mr. Pradhan. We don't have any personal animosity with Mr. Pradhan. Somebody from Bharatiya Janata Party is going to take his place. Even Trivedi ji might take Dharmendra Pradhan's place. We don't have anything to say on that. The thing is, what message is the Bharatiya Janata Party government sending to minister across the country? What message is the Bharatiya Janata Party government sending to the civil servant across the country, that no matter what you do, no matter what scams you get involved in, no matter what allegations you're carrying with you, we are going to stand with you. This is a very wrong precedent with the Bharatiya Janata Party government is setting. Now, Navika ji, we have so many suggestions we have got that government should do. First of all, we have never seen a paper leak happen by UPSC paper. It never got leaked since independence. Why is our why is a body?
Are you saying that the platform of the Newshour is the platform on where the opposition should suggest solutions, or is the Parliament the platform where it should be suggested? Is the I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy if my show is where solutions come up, and national issues of great importance are debated and discussed and solutions come out of it. I'm very happy. But then let's shut the Parliament. Why are people of this country paying for running the Parliament if you don't want anything out of Parliament? If you don't want a solution and you only want a logjam, then, how are the students gaining anything from all the reforms that have been announced so far? If you are going to decide who's a Deshbhakt, who's a sellout, why are you even sitting on a protest? वो तो आप रोज ट्विटर पे दे ही सकते हैं. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, now after all these days, when solutions, and I completely want to say this loud and clear, that yes, the government has made a mistake. For nearly a month and a half, they have not acknowledged the mistakes that were made. They have not acknowledged the fact that people were unhappy of the manner in which exams were conducted and papers were leaked. Students and parents equally were extremely aggrieved and upset about all of this. Corrective action could have taken place earlier, did not take place earlier. The recognition of the problem only started 4 days ago on the 20th of July. I completely acknowledge that this is the mistake the government has done. But since then, when solutions are coming, why are we seeing all this prevarication at this point, Abhijit?
Look, we need to understand there's something fundamentally wrong with the BJP in that, if you talk to them politely, they never listen. They've basically incentivized every anarchist and nihilist to come out and start rioting on the street if they want to be heard and engaged with at a ministerial level, number one. Second, I fundamentally believe Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan has to resign, because that then sets a deterrent for any person replacing. What does it solve? It solves a lot of things. Because every man who comes on that post again remembers what happens to his predecessor and takes extra care. That said, why is it the Congress doesn't ask for Revant Anumula to resign? He has presided over at least 2 paper leaks in his tenure already. Short tenure, he's already presided over 2 paper leaks in Telangana. Notice how their accountability goes out of the window. He's the education minister of Telangana, by the way, in addition to being the chief minister. How come nobody asked their ally, the National Conference, Sakina Ittu, to resign? Because there has been a paper leak in Kashmir as well. Imagine, it's just got its elections and government, uske andar paper leak ho gaya. Punjab has had 4 paper leaks since the AAP took over. One, now notice how devious they are. They use the acquittal in the 2023 paper leak to claim the 2024 paper leak was also acquitted. And mind you, Karnataka is the worst. There have been 4 paper leaks. When is Mr. Bangarappa resigning? Bangarappa? He is not going to resign. Will the spokesperson here commit to him resigning? No, they won't. See, what is sauce for the goose is also sauce for the gander. If Dharmendra Pradhan should go, all these education ministers also need to go. When it comes to that, they will say, no need to quit. Different standards for them, different standards for everybody else. Mind you, what the implementation that the Karnataka government has done is exactly the same, copying after what the BJP did. BJP says we will use Air Force planes to deliver papers. Karnataka said we will use police to deliver papers. BJP says we will strengthen laws against paper leakers. D.K. Shivakumar says the same thing against paper leakers. See the sign. How do you differentiate between a genuine protester and a nihilist? A protester comes up with solutions. They are constructive. But we all know this is a funding ka dhanda. This is AAP Part 3. The AAP itself was Part 2 of Sonia Gandhi's National Advisory Committee. And the AAP Part 2, National Advisory Committee Part 3 is CJP. Why else do CJP spokespersons get the same kind of defense that the AAP reserves for its own leaders? क्या इतना हमदर्दी है तुम लोगों में कि इतना झपिया पिया कर रहे हो CJP के साथ? How is it that everybody in the CJP is linked to the AAP at some point of time? And mind you, since we're talking about accountability, can we please talk about Mr. Saurav Das's sources of income, unknown sources of income, living in a house which costs 10 lakhs a month in rent? Where's Mr. Dipke's education degree? Has anybody seen it? Who funded his education there? Has anyone even seen mark sheet out there in alleged communications degree in Boston University?
But is that important at this point? You know, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, you're raising these questions at a time when the government is negotiating with them. So clearly, they have got what they wanted. They have got the attention of the government a little too late, probably, but they have now got credibility because the government has given to them. Now to begin to start reinventing the wheel is not going to help matters. But Vivek Srivastava, kya hai bhai? Why is everything, सवाल वो कहते हैं ना, जो कांच के घरों में रहते हैं वो दूसरों को क्या पत्थर मार रहे हैं? Everybody has had a paper leak in their own backyard, but wants the resignation only of the union minister. Well, nobody is saying that paper leaks were fine, but Please look at your own track record. Unmute yourself.
Yes. Yeah, in that case, I think the government should resign. By 2014, you were elected to power because the people felt there is something lacking in the previous government and you can improve it. If nothing can be improved and everything remains as it is, आप हैं किस लिए भाई? आप हैं इसलिए क्योंकि आपसे लोगों को 2014 में उम्मीद थी, तभी आप आए सत्ता में, आप कुछ अच्छा करके दिखाइए, लेकिन आपकी पुलिस जो कर रही है, ऑनरेबल होम मिनिस्टर को दिल्ली पुलिस रिपोर्ट करती है, मैं सुधांशु जी को पहले भी बता रहा था, कैसे हाईकोर्ट के अंदर फजीयत हो रही है, क्या क्या दिल्ली पुलिस ने करा महिलाओं और लड़कियों के साथ, कपड़े फाड़े गए हैं, ये सब कुछ हो रहा है और कोर्ट को बताया है, और दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट बार एसोसिएशन के प्रेसिडेंट हरिहरन जी ने पर्सनली बताया है, पूरा वक्तव्य क्या है कि पुलिस वाले का नाम बिल्ले है नहीं, बैजेस है नहीं, कोई सिविल ड्रेस में है, कोई किसी को मार रहा है. Is this the way to handle a law and order situation in the national capital? कोई आंसर नहीं है. वांगचुक साहब है, आपको अपना अनशन तोड़ना था, प्लीज ब्रेक इट, नो इशू, ब्रेक इट इन द मिडल ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स. आप भाजपा मिनिस्टर्स के साथ क्या नेगोशिएशन कर रहे हैं? It is not about breaking the anchan or not breaking the anchan. Yes, I'm going to ask questions about his propriety. आप आए थे उस वहां पे अनशन करने के लिए, आपको प्लेटफॉर्म
The propriety of the questions raised by Abhijit Iyer Mitra, तब आपको propriety याद नहीं आती है. सौरभ दास की फंडिंग वो पूछ रहे हैं, वो पूछ रहे हैं कि सबका कनेक्शन आम आदमी पार्टी के साथ कैसे निकल रहा है. These are also questions, but Sudhanshu Trivedi, these are not the questions they want to raise. The questions are only for the BJP to answer, nobody else.
There are certain suspicious things also. Navika ji, there are hundreds of YouTuber influencers which were just 15-20 days back. They were posting nothing related to socio or political issues. Some was telling about how to cook good food. Some was telling about how to do physical fitness. Some was telling about beauty and others. Some was telling about flowers and others. Suddenly everybody has started speaking about this. Suddenly changed. And there are certain allegations in which it is believed that there are trails that they have got 60-65,000 rupees per day. And suddenly, तो जब propriety की बात करेंगे विवेक जी, बहुत सारी चीजें आएंगी. इसीलिए मैं कहना चाहता हूं छात्रों से, संभल के रहिएगा. आपके बीच में ये घुसपैठिए बैठे हुए हैं जो आपके कंधों पर बैठकर अपनी राजनीतिक पराजय का इंतकाम लेना चाहते हैं. Those who have been totally rejected by the people, rejected by their own coalition partners, rejected by their own party members. As Rahul Gandhi said, process of rejection, because he's always been rejected, so he's having a mindset of rejection. Now they are trying to put their frustration or by utilizing this agitation. So students must be very careful about it. Government is fully.
Sudhanshu ji, one question I will definitely want to ask you. If you knew that people in the political spectrum wanted to take revenge, why did you underestimate these protests? Why did you not wake up early? Why was there not enough intelligence on how big they are going to get? Why is there not enough intelligence on who has penetrated all of this? That is also a question that you will need to answer. Suddenly, in the last 4 days, there is panic reaction from the government. What were you doing before that? Is that not a legitimate question, Sudhanshu ji?
No. Government was not in panic. Government was very carefully calibrated. Because these type of black sheep have managed to go inside. हिंदी में कहावत होती है, गेहूं के साथ घुन पिसना. We want to make sure कि गेहूं के साथ घुन पिसे. For that, ठल्ली होती है ना, फिल्टर लगाया जाता है ताकि आटा यानी फ्लोर तो नीचे चल जाए और घुन ऊपर रह जाए. So government is meticulously finding out, those peoples are being found out, recognized, and we do not want to put the career of any student, even if he has spoken any unlawful, any language, utterly disrespectful language, but we do not want to destroy or demolish their career. We want to identify those professional agitators, those criminal elements who in the mask of स्टूडेंट एजिटेशन ट्राइंग टू डीरेल. बट मैं एक और बात भी कहना चाह रहा हूं नाविका जी, जब ऐसे ऐसे वीडियो आते हैं जो बच्ची को नीट का फुल फॉर्म नहीं पता है और आपको लगता है स्टूडेंट जेन्युइन है, तो सीबीएसई का फुल फॉर्म ना बता पाए, एक बच्चे से पूछा जा रहा है कि आप
there are issues on both sides and at the moment we are looking at negotiations, probably prolonged negotiations between CJP and the government. A solution is within reach but not quite there. But in the middle are opposition parties. Will they allow negotiation to go forward, come to a conclusion? We don't know. But we did a survey. Wangchuk breaks fast. Congress calls him a sellout. Congress discrediting a mascot for the sake of credit. Yes, say 76% people. No, say 16%. Can't say 8%. 76% believe that the Congress party is only looking for credit, not the issue. We leave it at that. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on debate number 1.